news. Right, gentlemen, there was something I wanted to talk about in the news today. Zlatan versus LeBron beef. You guys should know, but Zlatan recently was interviewed and he basically said that he didn't like the fact that LeBron James talked politics. Right, I don't want to go into the details of whether you thought what he said was right or wrong. I want to go, that's not the focus of today's conversation. My only comment would be, I don't get why it's political if someone comments on something that is just blatantly wrong. Like what? That's not politics. It's just commenting on something that is incorrect. I don't know that many people that openly think racism is good or appropriate or fair or whatever. So I don't see why it's political to talk about it, really. So that's my views. Anyone got any, before we move on to the main section, anyone got anything they want to get off their chests regarding that?
Do you know, it reminds me from a couple of years ago, was it on Fox News with Laura Ingraham?
Yep.
Yeah, that's literally the first thing I thought of, where she told LeBron to shut up and dribble. It reminds, it's exactly the same thing. As I think you said, hit the nail on the head there. It's not, I don't know when, sticking up for racial things became politics. So I'll leave it at that. Just
ridiculous, isn't it? Ridiculous. It's like if he gave money to a charity, you wouldn't be like, oh, why is he getting involved in politics? But the moment he actually says something, it's an issue.
Do you think that it could be a cultural difference between how Americans view their celebrities / athletes and the European model? Because I just think that, just generally speaking, I don't think that sort of football players really do get involved in political matters. I don't really hear, the Kevin De Bruynes of the world talk about Brexit or anything like that. Do you think that could be a difference, where actually in America celebrities just have a almost like a godlike status? Do you think that it could be that? It's
no, but K. I think you're missing the point. Yeah, you're missing the point there. Whether it's a cultural thing or not, it's an individual choice to comment on something like Brexit is genuine, actual politics. If you're standing up for like your persecuted group, that's not necessarily politics. He's just commenting on things that are facts.
No, I take the point. Because I think that Zlatan is talking out of turn, because he spoke about how when he grew up in Sweden and his name being Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he was picked on because obviously he felt like an outsider. So I'm not really sure why he was able to speak about that and his actual personal experience growing up in Sweden as an immigrant, why it's any different to LeBron speaking about a persecuted group in his own country.
Well, there we are. Tobes, did you want to say something?
You started by, you don't want to say if it's right or wrong. The guy is freaking wrong. Right? I'll say it with my chest. I don't care. He needs to stay in his lane, right? You do you. No one's saying, LeBron's not saying, hey, Zlat, why don't you speak about politics?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? No one's forcing him to do it. So why are you then commentating on someone who wants to? You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Additionally, I think it, as long as it's not cringeworthy, and you do see that in today's world, where some people do it for the clout, but more or less most celebs get involved with a movement because they're passionate and they want to use their status to elevate the matter, then it's precisely the point. You got a platform, use it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're sponsored by Nike or whatever, and you're plugging their products, but you can't plug a product for an individual sort of cause. Doesn't make sense. Right, okay, Tobes, while you're here, I hope you noticed the fact that they did not know how to pronounce Zlatan's name. I thought that was hilarious. But reading and listening to a lot of the feedback from what happened, the blowback even, turns out a lot of Americans have no clue who Zlatan is. They're like, Zlatan. I'm like literally like Kendrick Perkins, like, I don't even know who the guy is.
The guy played in LA.
Yeah, I know.
How many years?
Well, this just brought me to our question. This is a question I just wanted to bring to the panel. Yeah, who's a bigger star, or who's had a better career, Zlatan or LeBron James? Well, that might sound ridiculous.
No question.
Okay. Well, I will play devil's advocate because I feel I know where you guys are going to come down on this conversation. Yeah, but I'll just play devil's advocate and say Zlatan plays the bigger sport. We can't forget that. We can't forget, as great as the NBA is, we love the NBA. Soccer, inverted commas, is the bigger sport. Okay, how many titles has Zlatan won? He's won 13 titles, numerous domestic cups. He's a record goal scorer for his international team. He's won many individual awards. I'm just asking the question. I just found it interesting that no one knew who he was. He's a massive player. He's played all over the world. He's played in the Premier League. He's played for Manchester United. He's played for Barcelona. He's played for AC Milan. He's played for Inter Milan. He's played for Ajax. These are juggernauts of European football. He played for Juve. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, that comment aside, he is a legendary player in the game, Zlatan. And as well as being like around, his longevity is actually mad.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was going to say.
He's been him and LeBron have that in common. They've been balling from day till now, and they look after themselves. He's in great nick. He's still performing. He's scoring on a high level, and he's also he's built a cult status for himself. When he talks about, he's kind of got that Cantona swag to him. He talks about himself in third person. Zlatan is not scared of anyone. He's got all these like gimmicks and stuff like that. So he has got that behind him. But and I know you always bring in the kind of the scale factor. So how many people would know from a footballing perspective who Zlatan is compared to how many people will know LeBron James? But at the same time, respectively in their sports, they're just like different levels completely. Like if someone says to you, who are the GOATs of football? Zlatan is not coming to your brain quick. You know what I mean? You talk about your tier system. I'm not thinking Zlatan until we get to like, outside the 40, 50. It's true. Like he wouldn't jump in my brain like quick. Whereas someone says who's the GOAT of LeBron, basketball, you're already thinking LeBron's in the conversation.
Yeah.
And that reached another question to think about is the way when I heard you say it is like, if I'm talking to the missus or someone who probably doesn't follow sports in general, right? Someone who doesn't know sport at all, who do you think they'll know? LeBron James or Zlatan Ibrahimovic? Say just go home and ask like your family member who maybe doesn't watch sport.
Okay, I agree. I agree with you, Tobes. But Kada, I'm going to bring this to you because you're not massive on social media. Like, no. So if you just look at the careers again, I'm playing devil's advocate. LeBron's my guy. I'm playing devil's advocate. If you bring equivalence between the two careers, I don't know. Like, what do you think? Just social media aside, we know that LeBron's got much bigger social media following and this and the other because he speaks out on these issues. He's kind of a lot more well known. But I don't know. 4 NBA titles versus 13 league titles, and obviously in football you've got internationals and this and that. I don't know. What you tell me? Tell me how would you calibrate the two careers in your mind?
I think Zlatan's had success everywhere he's gone, and he's shown that he was a highly rated youngster who was doing unbelievably at Ajax, and he went on to have an amazing career. Their careers there are very, very strong similarities within their careers. I just think they're just so different. They're such different sports, aren't they? Where actually people forget that America is a continent, so they don't need Europe to be relevant.
Yeah, true.
And I think that as kind of Toby said, that if I was going to ask, maybe not my missus, but I was going to ask another person in my family who LeBron James was, they would vaguely know who he was. But if it was Zlatan, I don't think that they would know. But that goes to show that LeBron James has aged I don't know what he's been. The sensu beans must be just amazing in LA. It's just been phenomenal. So, yeah, no, I think yeah. Ultimately, his actual achievements in football go with that saying. I think he's very well respected. But no, he's not. I don't think he's on the level of
LeBron James. There's a certain je ne sais quoi about the whole thing, innit? After a while, the numbers and stuff stop counting, and it's kind of your eye test, your ear test. You know who's bigger. You know.
Yeah, I think so. Just based on a global reach. I mean, to the people that we can really compare with LeBron are Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi, and even then, you know, you could argue that just from a global ambassador standpoint and all that kind of stuff and reach, you'd have to say that LeBron has the edge there as well.
Okay, Ollie. Then let's just for fun, let's play this game then. So we've agreed that LeBron's probably, inverted comma, the bigger athlete, and the reason for that is within his sport, because it's difficult to compare apples and oranges. But if you compare them intra-sport, LeBron is thought of more highly than Zlatan. That then begs the question: where does Zlatan fit in the footballing tier, and then how would you then translate that over to the NBA? So he's not GOAT level, obviously. I wouldn't say he's like just below the GOAT levels. Like, I don't think people see him on the same level like a Ronaldinho or, you know, R9 and all those people, Zidane. But what I would say is if Messi and Ronaldo weren't here or were just humans, there would be at least an argument that Zlatan is the greatest player of his generation. If you look at the totality of his career. As you know, he's nearly 40. So I'm trying to think of players who, outside of LeBron James, would be seen as the player of their generation, of this generation. Who do you reckon Zlatan is the NBA equivalent of? My instincts initially said KD. What are your thoughts, Ollie?
It's a bit of a hard one.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? I see the boys in the chat.
It's a tough one. Because Zlatan would say Zlatan is his own man. But no, I don't know. If we're talking back out of everyone basically in the NBA, someone who is just off the top of the head, who's great scorer, around the league for a while, few different teams, outspoken, and never won a chip. As in, Zlatan's never won he's won all the league titles, but he's never won a Champions League, so to speak. So that final goal, I don't know. So the one on top of my head was Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley,
the round mound of rebound. Not in that sense, but as I said, scorer, brash and outspoken, never won a chip.
Yeah, and just the level, but he's one of those great players that MJ just ruined the legacy of. Like, I'm sure everyone knows he's really good, but I've never seen a Charles Barkley highlight.
Exactly.
I've literally just never seen one. It just went like Bird Magic and then straight to MJ, then like straight through to Kobe. I like Charles Barkley as an option. Tobes mentioned Russ. Finally giving his guy some respect. I think Russ is another good shout as well. Great stats, big name, but he just can't quite say he was the guy at the top. So we got KD, we got Russ, we got Charles Barkley, but not LeBron James. And that's the bottom line, because the hoop call said so. There we are, Zlatan. You're in the wrong.